Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the previous class, if you people remind, we discussed about arithmetic mean and geometric mean. And then in that class, we discussed that which measure is a good measure. And with the help of example, we proved that geometric mean is a better measure than arithmetic mean. Now we are going to discuss another topic, that is adjusting returns for inflation. Return measures are not adjusted for inflation. Keep in mind one thing. When you are calculating return, suppose this is a country, and in this country we have some amount, 100,000 Afghanis. We deposit it in a bank, and bank is paying 10% interest. This 10% interest, this is basically called nominal interest. This is called nominal interest rate. Now, okay, for 1 year we deposit this money in the bank. But here is the problem. In 1 year, the prices of goods and services is also increased. On 1 lakh, at that time, we were able to purchase, suppose I'm supposing, 10 bags of wheat. Just an example. You know wheat. But now, on the same 1 lakh Afghanis, we can purchase 9 bags. So this shows something, that the prices of bags of wheat, it increases. Previously on 1 lakh we were able to purchase 10 bags, and now we can purchase 9 bags. This thing is called inflation. And for measurement of inflation, a tool is used that is called CPI. CPI means Consumer Price Index. It is a tool used for measurement of inflation. So when we measure CPI, we found that there is an inflation of 4%. So 10% bank was paying nominal interest, and 4% is inflation. So when we do that base 10 minus So we got that actually we earned 6%. This 6%, this is called real interest. So one is nominal interest and the other is real interest. Actually we earn 6%. Nominally we earn 10%. But because of inflation we derive this 4%. Why? The purchasing power of our currency, it also comes down by 4%. So because of this, purchasing power of our currency is decreased. So actually we earn 6%. Now here is talking about this thing. Returns measures are not adjusted for inflation. When we are calculating return, we are not taking inflation into account. We are not considering inflation. Purchasing power of investment may change over time. Just like I told you that previously on 1 lakh we were able to purchase 10 bags, and now with the same 1 lakh of money we can purchase 9 bags. So the purchasing power of the currency, it is changing over time, the purchasing power. Consumer Price Index CPI is possible measure of inflation. It is a tool which is used to measure inflation. Now, there is a formula for calculating total return inflation adjusted. Inflation adjusted, which is equal to 1 plus total return divided by 1 plus CPI and minus 1. So this is the formula for calculating returns which are inflation adjusted. So take an example. One plus total return divided by 1 plus CPI and minus 1. Look at the formula. 1 plus total return, 1 plus CPI and minus 1. So this is the formula for calculating, here are brackets, is the formula for calculating total return but inflation. Just like we took an example, so 1 plus our interest was 10%, then the CPI we took in the example that it is 4% and minus 1. So now we will calculate 1.10 divided by 1.04. We got this thing and minus 1, so we got 0.0576, means it will be 5.76. So in this way you can calculate inflation adjusted returns. Then what is the risk? So we already studied this thing, that the variability of returns from those that are expected. Something you are expecting and in actual that is different, so there is a variability of your expected return and your actual return. So that is basically called what? That is called a risk. What rate of return do you expect on your investment this year? So you are expecting something from your investment, and what rate will you actually earn? And when you calculate at the end of year the actual return, so that will be something else. So this variability in returns, this is called what? This is called risk. Then there are risk sources: interest rate risk, financial risk, market risk, liquidity risk, inflation risk, exchange rate risk, country risk, and business risk. Just I will give you an overview of this thing because we already studied this thing. I will quickly move on these things. Interest rate risk means that the variability in a security's return resulting from changes in the level of interest rate, referred to as interest rate risk. For example, when the interest rate increases, the bond price decreases, and vice versa. If you people remind, I told you about an example about this situation. Suppose there is a bond, it was issued in 2016. This is a bond. Its face value is 1000. Rate of interest is 10%. And maturity is 5 years. Now in 2019, another bond was issued by other companies. Now this bond, its face value is same. Its maturity is same. But the interest rate is high. So people will purchase this bond. If you want to sell this bond, nobody will purchase it at 1000. Why? Its price is also 1000, but it is paying 12% and your bond is paying 10% interest. So if you want to sell it, you will sell it at discount, means you will sell it at below 1000. So because of increase in interest rate increases from 10% to 12%. The value of your bond, it will come down. This is called interest rate risk. Market risk, the variability in returns resulting from fluctuations in overall market. That is, it is the valuation in the variability in returns. You are expecting something else, but because of recession, because of economy, because of wars, because of structural changes in the economy and changes in the consumer preferences, you didn't earn what you were expecting. So that is called market. Now market risk. Now this type of risk, it is affecting all the companies because war, recession, wars, and economy, it is affecting all the companies, not a single company. Inflation risk. Inflation risk is that because of inflation affecting all securities is purchasing power risk, or the chance that the purchasing power of invested dollars will decline. The money that you invested, just like in the previous example we discussed, that previously for 1 lakh Afghanis we were able to purchase 10 bags and now we can purchase only 9 bags. So this is basically inflation risk, that the amount that you invested, its value comes down. Business risk, the risk of doing business in a particular industry. When you are doing business in a particular industry or environment, it is called business risk. Like suppose telecommunication industry, which faces major and rapid changes. If telecommunication industry, there are continuous changes and major changes and quick changes. If you will not adapt to that, then you will be out of the competition. This is called business risk. Then there is financial risk. Financial risk means that you are unable to cover the interest charges. That financial risk is associated with the use of debt financing by companies. The larger the proportion of assets financed by debt, the larger the risk and variability in return. If you took more loan, so financial risk will be high. Why? You will pay the interest plus you will pay the principal amount, so it will be much more difficult for you. So when your loan is increasing, when your liability is increasing, your financial risk is also increasing. So financial risk is associated with debt financing. If you are taking more debt, so the burden on the company, it is increasing, financial risk is increasing. Liquidity risk means that when you purchase a security and that security, it is unable for you to sell it quickly and without losing the value. Suppose we purchase a share for 100 Afghanis and now we are in need of money, but nobody is willing to purchase it for 100 Afghanis. So that is liquidity risk. Exchange rate risk is another thing. So exchange rate risk means mostly it is international investors who are facing this exchange rate risk, that when they will convert the currency to home currency, maybe the home currency will appreciate or home currency will depreciate, it will affect their returns. So that is called exchange rate risk. Then there is country risk. It is also called political risk, and it is because of political and economical instability, that there is political instability in a country. Then types of risk, two types of risk, one is systematic risk and one is unsystematic risk. Systematic risk, the variability of returns on stocks or portfolio associated with changes in return on a market as a whole. Systematic risk, it is uncontrollable risk and it is affecting all the companies. And one is unsystematic risk, the variability of return on stocks or portfolio not explained by general market movement. It is avoidable through diversification. Unsystematic risk, this is also called controllable risk, and with the help of diversification you can control it. So total risk is equal to systematic risk plus unsystematic risk, and total risk is the sum of systematic plus unsystematic risk. Diversification, we discussed about all these things, that's why I'm going quickly on these things. Diversification is the concept of diversification makes such common sense that our language even contain everyday expressions. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So diversification means that invest in different assets so your risk will be minimized. The idea is to spread your risk across a number of assets or investment. That is, invest your money in different assets so your risk will be what? Spread. Your risk will be minimized. Then measurement of risk. For measurement of risk we are using standard deviation. So this formula we already studied it in financial management and we solve question on these. So I think there is no need of explaining this thing. Inshallah, in the next class then we will start the next chapter. Assalamu alaikum.